There you go. I will start the recording here. 3, 2, 1. CEO Wisdom Podcast with David Leach with us today, live from NZ, and that is New Zealand. I was telling Dave that a lot of people do not know about New Zealand, so pardon or lack of education on the country, because there's a lot of quality businesses and CEO there. Like I told Dave, I heard about NZ at first because of Peter Thiel, and I'm really glad that I started inviting CEOs to my podcast because I'm getting really high quality folks so far. So Dave, thank you for being here today. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself and basically Sin7?
Sure, Charles. Nice to meet you today and nice to hang out. So yes, New Zealand, firstly, just because you mentioned it, New Zealand, 5 million people, bottom corner of the world, Southern Hemisphere, just to the east of Australia. And it's a safe little country. So if the world turns to custard, it's not a bad place to live. So myself, David, CEO, I've been CEO at Sin7 for 3.5 years. So I'm not the founder, but I have a background working in a lot of global growth software companies. I'm a software guy. I used to be a developer in my 20s, so reasonably technical by background, and lead the company from a real product perspective, and have helped to take the business more global. It was already on a trajectory, but we've had a lot of amazing growth since the last 3 or 4 years. And I love the job. I love this role of CEO. It's this sort of intellectual challenge, thinking about different chess moves and building culture and a lot about people.
I would say also it's about being a general on the battlefield because hits are coming left and right. How have you taken and reacted to those hits in the last 3 years, starting with COVID?
You kind of get like knocked down, and just to be able to get back up takes a lot of resilience. COVID, I think as a business we did well, but boy, we had to think on our feet. We had to keep innovating, and I mean internal innovation around how do we communicate to staff. We had to really lean into tools like Zoom. Thank God for Zoom, amazing tech. I had the COVID happened 10 years prior, it would have been a very different situation for the world. So I think we did a lot to just keep the culture up, like keep the energy levels up, keep the staff engaged, and so important. Had we not done that, the productivity might have really dropped off. But actually for our type of business, because I can tell you later a bit more about Sin7, but we did really well during the pandemic. We had a real spike in growth. A lot of what we do is support businesses in selling physical products, physical inventory on e-commerce. And so you can imagine this big spike in e-commerce. We were able to capitalize on that. So to actually do well and grow and win customers in the middle of COVID, when we're all in lockdowns and stuck at home, really had to think on our feet and be a bit creative around how do we make the most of this great market situation that we were in.
So just for a quick introduction, folks, Dave accepts 2 of these podcast interviews per year. Really honored that he picked me. I don't know why. When I added Dave on LinkedIn, there's a little lock next to his name that is reserved most of the time to famous folks. You need to add his email in there. And then I asked myself why. So I checked my CRM, and Sin7 has more than 300 employees. And it said Dave cannot comment on that, but it's a 20+ million revenue business. So yeah, Dave, you're in the big leagues. How did you get there?
It's quite a bit more than 20 million, but I won't give you the number. And over 8,000 customers so far, but very globally spread in over 100 countries these days. How did we get there? I think like right from the origin started in New Zealand. New Zealand being such a small country, from when software companies are started, it's global mindset from the beginning. Because to make it big in New Zealand, like, is not a big deal, a country of 5 million, but to make it big globally is often the passion that founders and CEOs have. And I think we have a lot of experience in that. Like, how do you actually go international, win big in big markets like the US, expand into Australia first? Tends to be a pattern. We we've actually been able to build software that's highly relevant to small and medium businesses, and we solve mission critical things. We're not, and I think if you think about ingredients, about how do you get a business to this size, and hopefully we can grow a lot larger, mission critical software above nice to have software, and be like tough on yourselves to like ask the questions like, what can you do on your product roadmap to actually make it more important and more mission critical, so it actually matters. If your software has an outage, it's kind of a good thing that all your customers are screaming at you going, there's an outage. Whereas if you have an outage and no one even realizes for a week or two, like that should be of concern to a software company, because it doesn't matter enough. So that was good for us. Great, we have great people, amazing sales people in particular, that have really been able to spread the message and explain our software, do great demos and things. So there's a lot to it. Like, there's a long answer to your question, Charles, around like all those ingredients to sort of laying foundations for success. Yeah.
You had a track record prior to Sin7. You were COO at EasyVet. You also were CEO at Curious Limited for a year and 7 months. How did the folks at Sin7 found out about you, and why did they pick you other than, I guess they would have a list of CEO. Why did they shortlisted the others and kept you, basically?
It's a good question. So I think being located where I was here in Auckland, New Zealand, which was the headquarters at the time, and I think I was open to just trying something different. And I knew it was sort of confidential at the time, but I knew that we were very close to actually selling to a private equity firm. So today, should explain this. So our majority owners are a US-based private equity firm. So I've come on with the previous CEO back in 2019, essentially retiring and moving on to other things. And so I was able to basically carry the torch, Charles, and continue the journey. So just timing worked out really well. And the potential, I joined because I could see that there's some traction here, but there's a whole lot of potential that's not unlocked. So I felt like confident that I could do something with the business and grow it. Yeah.
Right. And your technical and engineering background, I think, weighed a lot in the scale. Tell us a bit more about Sin7 and what you guys do specifically. Is it fair to say that you're kind of the Shopify of retailing / manufacturing / enterprise?
Yeah, like in one sense, totally. That's a fair statement. What we do for small and medium inventory-centric businesses is we are their mission-critical core platform. They run their operation on our platform, and we achieve this end-to-end flow for the inventory. So if you're a distributor, we make it easier to purchase goods from your suppliers, receive those goods, store those goods in your warehouse. We track the inventory, the location of stock, the quantity of stock, and quite importantly, we make it easier to sell the inventory on lots of sales channels. So some of our customers have point of sale in a physical store, whereas other customers will use Walmart.com and Amazon.com and eBay and all these marketplaces around the world. And so with less friction, we make it easier to sell this inventory on lots of channels. So therefore our customers can grow more easily. And if you have a customer base that's thriving and growing, then they're going to stay on the platform. Hopefully they're going to tell their friends, and hopefully they can stay on our platform for many years. Yeah.
You mentioned many times that the software is mission critical, and I do believe that it is mission critical. I had my nootropic startup back in the days, and we had physical products, and we needed to count all the bottles that were in there, where they were. Some of them were in the midst of being shipped and so forth. When has shit hit the fan for some of your clients using Sin7? When has it broken, and how have you fixed these mission critical issues that popped?
Great question, Charles. So I'm kind of keeping it real. Firstly, this digital world of commerce that's exploded in the last 10 years is really complicated. Okay, there's it's really hard for a small business that is often led by a less technical person as well to just navigate that digital world of commerce. Sin7 stands for connected inventory, and we have this concept of connecting the world of digital commerce. We have hundreds of integrations, and it's integrations sort of something we're expert in. But there's a certain type of integration. Some people that are in this industry will know the term EDI. EDI is a really old method of integrating systems together. Without explaining the technical details, it's older than API, REST APIs and things. And essentially, it's not plug and play. It's a lot more complicated. It's a lot more involved to set up. We are one of the few in our space and what we do that offers native EDI. So there's some benefits to that. But if that EDI breaks, and sometimes that's our fault, in all honesty, but sometimes it's the other end, it's the end point. So just an example, like Walmart.com. Walmart.com is a marketplace. There's a really nice API integration. Walmart physical stores, if you want to sell your products in the physical stores of Walmart, it's an EDI connection. And it's just the technology around it's fraught with issues. So sometimes the connection will drop, but the stakes are high. Like sometimes like a sales order can get lost. And sometimes that sales order, one order could be a pallet of not one product, because it's not a consumer buying it. It's essentially a business buying an entire pallet load of your product. So if you have problems with that sales order, the stakes are high. So this is that mission critical nature of what we do.
Very important. That's so one side of your business is sales, obviously, and you've mentioned that your sales team did an amazing job at selling the product. What's your main sales strategy? Is it outreach nowadays? Do you have a community of some sort? What's your main growth strategies?
So it's kind of rather digital focus. Like as a company, we're only 11 years old. So we tend to have our leads flow in from lots of different sources, paid advertising, organic SEO, lots of online review websites, things like that. Not a lot of outbounding type work for our type of business. So it's reasonably data driven as well. We have good tools to monitor it daily, weekly, monthly. So from my preview, we have a monthly rhythm to the business. So looking at the metrics monthly and looking at trends. And we sort of think about the chess moves. Where do we want to pour more money here and less money here? And so that's how we sort of navigate it.
And is the growth being mostly led by ops and RevOps, for example? Is the strategy just building the best software there is and retaining most of the client and having them upsell to higher packages?
Yeah, we're a growth business. So for me, I sometimes talk to my team around seizing market share like that. We've got a lot more runway. So we want to keep going after that. So definitely for our existing customers, we do want to retain them. We have a customer success team. And if you take the concept of customer success, literally, like how can we actually help our customers grow? And we have more we want to do on a strategy to actually get better at how we systematically help our customers grow. We want to be the platform that if you join Sin7, there's a high confidence and a brand awareness globally, that by joining us and using our software, we will help you be really successful as your partner, as your technology and growth partner. That kind of concept. Does that answer your question, Charles?
Yeah, somewhat. Because the other side of the business and to lead more sales and have a better product is to recruit great humans. Can you comment on your strategy to recruit the best types of humans, and also comment on how you've been using AI to assist these humans this year?
That's good. It's a good question. We have great people. We've retained a lot of great people. I think it's culture. We work really hard at our culture. Actually, for those listening that are product people in that software space, I like to use the word EVP, employee value proposition. If you think about the EVP as a product, like a virtual product of the package of it's the salary the employee gets, the benefits, the perks, the entire employee experience. And if the EVP is like a product, then on a strategy, what's the roadmap for that EVP product? And so that we've thought about that quite a bit, like on that, and that has driven our culture in a great direction. I think it's one of our super strengths. And so if you have a great culture, then it's going to attract top talent, and it's going to help to retain top talent. I think we've worked hard to win some awards as well in the last few years. Actually, really exciting. About a month ago, we won the New Zealand High Tech Awards as Company of the Year, which was a really exciting, cool moment for our team. And congrats to our whole team. That sort of big milestone for us. But these are proof points that people look at when they're deciding, do they want to join a business? We use our Instagram to keep it very employee focused. We don't use Instagram to help win new clients as such. It's more about winning new employees. And we showcase our parties. This background is our office. We have really good parties. We had a DJ in a couple of weeks ago, literally a DJ, and turned off all the lights and had a proper party with smoke machine and stuff. So yeah.
Love it, man. Sounds like a fun place to work. Talking about that, you've been working there since a couple years now. How has CEO-ship changed your life as a person and financially?
Can I jump back? You asked me a question I didn't answer. Sorry, Charles. AI.
AI, sure.
So
Yeah. Thank you for that.
I would just say, like, all the tools we use are all cloud-based. Like, we're a software company, so we're all fairly tech-savvy people. A long time ago, we shared desktop, old tech. So we're really good at using internal tools, and particularly sales and marketing. We use a lot of like point solutions for different things. And like, even personally myself, I'm now using a meeting AI tool. Give them a little plug, shall I, call it Voma. That if I can't make a meeting as a CEO, busy guy, I just have a Voma attend the meeting, and it auto records it and it transcribes it. And it does a lot more than that, actually. I can create snippets from it and share it with others and things. It's super cool. So I'm using that, and it makes it a little easier to track actions and things that come out of meetings. So yeah, there's lots of little point solutions we're using in all our different departments, and we use it to drive efficiency and automation, productivity mostly. Yeah.
Copilot for coding, probably ChatGPT for content and so forth.
Yes,
or
starting to do that. Yeah. Yep. So Copilot in the background for us in early days. ChatGPT, we've actually just not public knowledge yet, actually, but like, we are getting close to going live on our integration with ChatGPT.
Wow.
so that our end user can create a product description for their inventory. If you think about that, if you have this physical product and you're selling it on Amazon Marketplace, in our software now, you'll be able to create a very cool, highly differentiated description on that product that indexes really well on Amazon, and do it all in our UI. So that's not actually released to our customers yet, but that's pretty coming soon. Yeah.
Well, you just announced it on a live platform. Fortunately, I don't have that much listeners. Dave, last question. So I'm gonna rephrase the last one. Do you feel that the CEO role has brought lots of value to your life? Because it's like a strong time commitment, requires lots of energy. Even when you're at the restaurant, you're still thinking about the business. You get paid good money. It's also really intellectually challenging. Is it worth the shot?
Yeah, I love what I do. I think I like the intellectual challenge of it, but I got to tell you, it's not for everyone, because it is very hardworking. It's the intensity of the work, and it's the back-to-back meetings like that sometimes happens, and it's the relentless inbox of emails coming in, and not all of them are important. You just got to like shed those. I think what drives me is the culture side of things. Just to strive. We have our company values. The first value is strive, and for us that means about being your best. And I'm trying to be my best, just like everybody else in our business. And as a company, we're trying to be the best company we can be. That means financial success, but not only the financials, it's culture. I just want to build a company that has a great culture where people can create memories here. We have this cool photo wall in the office that capture the memories of our DJ parties and things like this. And yet people will not work at Sin7 forever, but I want them to be able to look back on Sin7 fondly, and go, that was a great place to work. And I've got some cool memories from there. Yeah. So I'm passionate about that stuff, and that drives me.
Love
Yeah.
it. Well, thank you, Dave, for the time. I know you have another meeting. Where can people find out more about you and the company?
Sin7.com. Yeah, please look us up. It's really easy to just hit a button there and request a demo. We have a free trial there on offer too. So sin7.com.